I'm your host, Action Jack, with my co-host, Rex Jackman. You are now watching the GGN Network. Good morning, man. We have an action-packed show for y'all today. Rex, man, how you feeling?
Hey man, look, I can't complain, you know what I'm saying? I thought I was gonna have my swag on today, you know what I'm saying? But it's a green jacket. It's gonna blend in with the green screen, so it's got me and him blending camouflage like I'm Solid Snake. You know, Metal Gear Solid 3, you know what I'm saying? Out here, you know, I'm a camouflage joint, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, you know, I'm here at the house studio. I ain't got all the fancy stuff and lights and stuff like you got over there at the studio, you know what I mean? Cause, you know, you don't like to pay your boy, but ultimately, you know, it's all good, you know, it's all love. I'm here to help support and help regulate, you know what I mean?
Man, it's been a long week, a week full of disappointment within gaming, but at the same time, you know, the excitement's still in the air whenever we understand what's coming in the future. And also, you know, we're here, you know what I'm saying? We're here to bring that news, we're here to bring that excitement. So hopefully y'all can get some enjoyment from this, even though it might be a little stale for you in the gameplay side of things. But with that being said, as always, we're going to kick you off with a couple of game releases that are going to be happening this week. We have this week coming up, Avowed. That is going to be February 18th. I'm looking forward to this game. At first, I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't really care about the game when they first showed it off. I really didn't think, you know, Microsoft knew what this was going to be about. But as I've gone along and seeing what this game has kind of turned into, it's kind of you know, growing on me a little bit. And then now that I see that there is a third person mode that I can actually go into instead of doing the first person mode, then that's something that I'm very, very interested in. But outside of Avowed, we got Like a Dragon, Pirate, Yakuza, and Hawaii coming out on what seems like everything minus the Switch. But I still feel like anything that we don't see on the Switch now, we'll probably see another announcement for the Switch 2. And then we also have PGA Tour 2K25 coming out later this month as well. But you have to look at the early access, which is coming out on the 21st if you put up the money for it. And then you have the original release date, February 28th. So Rex, man, I mean, with these three games, I'm pretty sure there's more games that are coming out. But these are kind of like the main three that we're looking at, and kind of the big names that are coming out this month. And then with the Val coming out this week, like, what do you think as far as the content that we're getting for the rest of this month?
If I can be 100% honest with you, all this is trash to me. All of it is garbaggio. Yes, garbaggio. You know, Avowed, you know, and you talk about going from first person, third person. I don't care if I'm from the eyesight view or if I'm behind. Trash fillet trash, you know what I mean? Is this colorful trash, you know? So I agree with you on certain things we always talk about, these games being very grayscale and, you know, very like depressing type games, as if, you know, these developers need some type of therapy. But, you know, between Avowed and Yakuza, like the Dragon and in Hawaii, and I don't know what they be doing in the game. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, they got me all over the place, and we always talk about Nintendo doing drugs when making these games. Sega gotta be doing some type of drugs when they make Yakuza, bro. You know what I'm saying to you? And I always wonder, like, do they have to bypass, you know, the Yakuza, or like kind of take this to the Yakuzas, you know, to actually, you know, get this approved, or can they just put this out there, you know, all willy-nilly? Because I would assume, you know, they would come to whoop somebody behind, like, displaying it the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Get a little bit busy, because I heard they don't really play like that. But I will say, let me take this back. I will say, with the PGA joint, I wasn't a big fan of the EA PGA joint. But 2K is cool. It's just, I don't like how they be nickel and diming me. You know what I'm saying? And they be making me feel like a hoe, and they the pimp. They always out here asking for my money. You know what I'm saying? Like, will I be getting pimped out? You know, cause I buy VC this time, and then like, well, you know, your VC ain't good anymore, so now we need more VC. And they be making me feel some type of way. But, you know, I go and I spend the money either way. You know what I'm saying? You know, fast cash, you dig what I'm saying? But either way, you know, admit, all three gonna be what they're gonna be. This February, really hasn't really hit me with anything. I think we both on the same page with Xeno coming next month, and a couple of games coming up with that after that, you know what I mean? But, we gonna get into the whole state of play situation that was beyond sad, bro. Like, that was sad. I felt like I was watching a funeral. Like, Sony was just like out there just laying roses and flowers down, and they just had different names and dates to them, and nothing to like the third party developers, with some good games that we're gonna talk about later on. But man, I don't like where Sony going, bro. Like, we gotta talk about this, cause Sony just giving up. They just let Nintendo do what they gonna do. They just having their way with them right now. You know what I mean? I did too graphic, but they having their way with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you 100%, man. It's very interesting, looking at the games that we have coming up and knowing that there's that excitement for the Switch 2 that's right around the corner, and how these games may not interest a lot of people right now, but solely based off of the fact that it can be coming to the Switch 2 can shine some new light for some of these games and really get people to go and buy them strictly based off of wanting to see how they perform on a handheld device or a hybrid device that can be in handheld mode. And if the mouse function is to be believed, I'm pretty sure people are going to try to take advantage of that and see if these developers really take advantage of what it is that Nintendo is going to provide for them. And we'll just see where it goes from there and how they actually present it and how these games play and how they receive, man. But with that being said, let's go into our second topic, Sony's state of play. Sony had their state of play this past week. And yeah, it was a very interesting state of play, I must say, for myself. By no means am I biased towards any company. I do have my preferred companies that I go towards, like a Nintendo, and even from a device and control standpoint, Xbox. But I didn't get anything out of this showcase. I mean, Rex, talk to me, man. What did you get from this?
Man, the only thing I got from this was a headache, a little bit of depression, a little bit of concern. I felt good about my wallet. I tell you that much. I felt very good about my wallet. I know we're gonna talk about some more games, but Split Fiction, like Split Fiction was my thing, bro. That boy Yosef, he bad, bro. He bad with these games, and at the same time, obviously, my man be going off that liquor a little bit, so you know what I'm saying, we sip. If he sip, I sip. You know what I mean? He ain't, you know what I'm saying, nothing like we twins in that nature, but it's all good. But if I'm talking about just Sony themselves, I don't feel good for Sony moving forward. All the doom and gloom is focused on Microsoft right now. Like, that's the present doom and gloom, but we done said this before, bro. Like, Sony's right behind them. Like, it's real bleak out here in these streets, man. Like, PC is their next venture, cause they gonna pimp themselves out too. I just need the Sony ponies to know that, like, Sony about to pimp themselves out too, bro. Like, they about to be out here in these streets shaking ass for some cash, bro. Like, you talk about Game Pass, bro, they about to start surpassing some ass. Like, that's real deal over on the Sony side of things, bro. Like, y'all gotta be prepared. So just get into the zone of, games going everywhere, minus Nintendo. But, and I mean, like, as far as Nintendo's games, but I'm pretty sure, we might see more PlayStation games over on Nintendo's consoles too. I don't know how Lego Horizons did, but, if I'm looking at different franchises such as Astro, Ratchet and Clank and things of that nature that can get a breath of fresh air, I'm pretty sure there's some cats that's gonna double dip. If not, it'll be the first time playing those games over there on Nintendo's house, you know what I mean? Like, that's the platform can go for there. But if it comes down to Sony and how I feel after this, even with seeing some VR content, even though I'm not a big fan of VR, I don't do the VR gaming thing. To me, that just makes my head hurt. And plus, I got too much hair for it. Uh, but either way, yeah, man, I don't like this direction, bro. Like, I don't know where they're going. I don't know what they're doing. And I know they just got, a new president because old boy had to step down. But sometimes it's a little too late and you've already kind of got your crowd to a point to where they accept certain things. So if you try to go ahead and right the ship right now, they might not like that. So you might lose some people, but it might be best to kind of share some weight just to go ahead and gain some positive weight. You know what I mean?
Now, there were a few games that I wanted to shine some light on, whether it was from a positive standpoint or from a negative standpoint, one game in particular is Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. I was a big fan of Sonic All Star Racing Team Transformed when it came out back on the Wii U, and I know that it went to other platforms as well. But I felt like that was executed very well by the Sonic team, and it gave you a different look and a different spin. Even though Mario Kart is always the best selling kart game that's out there, I can honestly say it's not always the best game on every platform. I felt like within the 64, Diddy Kong Racing was the better racer. I felt like when we got into even within the PlayStation and 64 era, I felt like Crash was still a better game because it had uh, different elements of the game that you can actually do opposed to just racing. Even when we get into, Sonic Team All Star Racing, I felt like them having the three different vehicles that can transform, whether you were in a car, you were in a boat, or you transform into a plane. The transforming uh, levels, if you will, were always key. You can go from racing to being on like the boat and then going into the plane, and it wasn't something that was divided into different levels. It was a level transforming around you, and then of course you still had the love and the support of those Sega levels that they created as well. So it wasn't just all Sonic levels. They had across the board from Sonic to Skies of Arcadia. I remember we had what Wreck It Ralph in the game as well. So it was always a good mixture of what Sega was able to produce. And depending on like where you played it, you did have different types of characters too that got kind of wacky and wonky a little bit. But all in all, I felt like it was a better game than Deluxe for me at the time. And then Deluxe, well, not Deluxe, but Mario Kart 8. And then Deluxe, of course, took it to a whole nother level. But ultimately, I love what they do with the Sonic racing games. So for me, I want to highlight that. I know there was some DLC here. I don't honestly care. But I do want to shine a light, and I want to get your take on this as well. 2K. 2K is at this point for me, they're ruining certain genres that I loved as a kid and still love today as an adult. And we could start with basketball and then now going into wrestling. I've always looked at basketball and wrestling as yes, you can have those simulation games, but then also understanding that we need those arcade games as well. And I think that was the great balance that we had within the sixth generation, right? To where, you still had your lives and your 2Ks, but then you had your streets. When it came down to wrestling, like, yes, you had, at the time, I believe it was, the shut your mouths and the here you come. I mean, here comes the pain. And then eventually we started getting SmackDown versus Raw. But then you also had like the WWF All Stars. You had the different arcade type games that were out there, so you pretty much got a taste of what you really wanted no matter what type of gamer you were. And I felt like sports games in general kind of appealed better when it came down to the arcade style opposed to being simulation. So looking at WWE 2K25, um, they've gone to this whole island thing the same way they've done with 2K, NBA 2K25 or the NBA 2K series. And it's just a way to monetize at this point. I think when you start losing creativity or when you start losing the love of actually creating or even having any competition, you just try to find the best way to continue to milk money. And I've always had one key thing, and I'll speak on this before I pass it to you, Rex. One of the key things that I've always seen and had an issue with is if I bought 2K25 today and I build up VC and my character and everything surrounding around it, buying all the accessories and even those weird go karts and bikes and stuff, if I was into the city mode of it, none of that stuff carries over to the next game. You're starting over from scratch. Now, any other game that does this, they allow you to utilize your account, which 2K does have their own account service or membership service, if you will, to where you can create an account. So, and you will have the ability to carry over. I mean, you even look at the GTA Plus subscription that they have over on that end when we talk about Take Two and 2K being under that umbrella. Uh, there's ways for you to carry this stuff over opposed to you to continue to nickel and dime your consumer. And, an honest and true believer. Like, why change anything if the money's still being paid? But at the same time, you got to have some form of morality and understand that you claim to be a gamer as well as a developer, but it's not showcasing. So, Rex, let me know what you think, man.
Let me tell you like this, man. You know, a hustler don't hustle. I 2K a hustler, bro. Like, they've been at this for a cool minute, bro. Like, they've been hustling people for a hot minute. And, I can't blame them, but at the same time, I feel like it's like shame on you, right? And then when we start talking about, competition is what really gets people to move the needle and to do things differently. EA took themselves up out of there. Like, it's a little different on the Madden side, like on the football side of the house where, EA went and paid that bread and got 2K the hell up out of there. But, in this case, like, EA got themselves up out of there, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's a tough one. But I agree with you, like, they should have allowed you to carry over. If you're going to spend this type of time and money on something, let people carry that stuff over. And I know they're trying to rectify it in a way this time around with the player builds on 2K25, but to me it's still very grimy. It's very dirty. That's why I don't deal with it. I don't fool with it. Like I love hoop just like you love hoop. I love wrestling just like you love wrestling, but I can't spend that money. And I know you done ponied up, you know what I'm saying, here and there. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, you gotta kind of stop supporting them. Cause at this point, they just gonna keep putting their foot on your neck. You know what I mean? And they showing you they ain't trying to change. They don't want to change. There's no reason for them to change. So when I see WWE now having this island thing and, you running around and doing different things here and there, that's as about as close as you're gonna get to like a video game aspect to a game. But it has like that stink behind it. Like it's got that very nasty stink behind it when we talk about like the VC and even when you talk about like the my faction stuff and, my teams and, when it comes down to Madden, I guess all a nickel and dime. And a lot of people were saying, oh, it's the stockholders, it's the publishers and the people that's putting the money. You'd be surprised, man. Like there's some developers that really love the fact that they ain't got to do too much of nothing and they're going to get bread every step of the way because it allow them to, spend more time with the fam. And ain't nobody trying to knock that. You know what I'm saying? Spend time with your family. But at the same time, we gotta understand this is a hobby, homie. If we don't like what's going on in the hobby, you gotta switch hobbies, you know what I'm saying? That's why, I appreciate you, Jack, and I love what you do when you went to the music thing, you know what I mean? You say you didn't like the music, so you went and made the music, you know what I mean? So, and now vibe with it and I rock with it, you know what I'm saying? I need you to put me on the album, I don't know what's going on there, but, do what you gotta do, bro. But, that's on another note. But ultimately, when it comes down to 2K, man, 2K gonna 2K. And they gonna hit you with the 2 times, you know what I mean? They're gonna hit you 2,000 times. So it's something that's never gonna change. They got the coldest basketball game out right now, or the only basketball game out. They got the only wrestling game out because AEW let us down. They hyped us up with the No Mercy, and they played us, bro. They played us like a freaking fiddle, bro. I bought that game on 2 devices, bro. I double dipped, bro. I double dipped, and I got double dipped, bro. Like it's nasty work out here, bro. Like I had to go get checked up after that, bro. Like it was nasty work out here. Pause. It was nasty work out here, but all in all, man, I'm right there with you. Like 2K gonna do what they gotta do. But at the same time, it's like, what do you want them to do past this? Like, they done found the formula in the word, so people gonna keep coming to it. There's people that don't like to play simulation things, so they just go and hoop one-on-one on the streets, right? So, they done found their bread and butter. So, you tell me what they're supposed to do. But all in all, man, that's my thoughts on it, though.
I agree, man. It to me, I don't know how we got here, and I don't know why we're here, but I think we need to get away from it far in between because all it takes is for 2K and EA to continue to do it and be successful, and there's going to be another developer right behind them with it. But we did see some other cool things. I mean, we saw some more Shinobi. Um, these other games, I honestly do not care anything about other than Split Fiction. Like Split Fiction is going to be that game for me. Now, the only downside of Split Fiction is it's coming out March 6th. And we all know come March 6th, there is no Switch 2. I've already vowed to not continue to add to my Xbox library. I got rid of my PlayStation a long time ago, and I'm not going to continue to pour into my Steam library. So I want to consolidate and have everything in one home and one space going forward. This stuff is getting expensive. It's getting all over the place. Some days I want to play my Switch, but then realize the game or the save is over on my ROG Ally, and same thing when it comes down to on my Xbox. I'm trying to create one house and have it under one umbrella, and that's how I want to continue going forward. But honestly, Split Fiction, I really, really, really hope that they bring it over to the Switch too. I think this will be a good fit. They always do a great job with these types of games. We had It Takes Two that released not too long ago. That was a great game, and I believe it's what Brotherhood or Brothers or something like that. I'm sorry if I'm not getting the title correct, but you all know what I'm talking about. So I think this is something that's a very interesting genre, and something that Yosef has picked up on, him and his team, and they've really kept it going. They've kept it flowing, and they've evolved it from doing the dual stick play to where the left stick controls one controller and the right stick controls the other one, and of course, like, just different sides of the controller control both functions, to you just partnering with somebody else, to where they've even gotten to the point of, if I own the game, there is a free app for you to download to play the game alongside me. So I felt like that was pretty dope. They really could have had it to where you both had to purchase the game, and that's just what it would have been going forward. But with all of that being said, I want to pass it to you, Rex, on something. We want to talk about where does this put Sony at this point? For us, we were not too fond of what was showcased here, and that explains why we really haven't delved into too much of what was showcased. We just were not excited. So, where do you think this really places Sony moving forward?
Where does that put Sony moving forward? Ah, man. Ooh, let me think on that one, Jack. Man, where does this put Sony going forward? In all honesty, same space they in. They got a loyal crowd, man. You can't beat loyalty, bro. Like, when I tell you, we've seen the situation to where we done seen both men and women get slapped up in a situation, right? And they don't go nowhere. This is it. Like, the Sony crowd is like, we're seeing them be abused, bro. Like, they being disrespected. Like, the third parties coming in and showing all the love. Like, they the work husband, bro. Like, they the work wifey. Uh, they come in, saying like, oh, he can treat you right, she can treat you right, you know what I'm saying? You deserve better. And like, that's what third party doing right now. Like, they step in the Sony camp and like, yo, man, like, I could treat you better, man. And it's all these like, they ain't going nowhere. They just chilling. They ain't being romantical. No saying they ain't showing no love. They ain't doing nothing, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I saw people talking about, oh, we was gonna see Wolverine. We was gonna see Venom, and the reason why we know about Venom is because the leak. We were gonna see like the God of War trilogy remasters. Man, all you got was a Days Gone remaster. And the crazy thing about that is, you got a remaster for this game, but you wouldn't even greenlight like the second version of the game. I don't like the game, so it is what it is to me. I think there's too many Walking Dead-esque games out here, like way too many. And so I put that in a category. But for those that actually loved the game and wanted the sequel, and we found out that they denied the sequel, and you turn around and do a remaster, and then now we're hearing that same narrative again of, oh, if you just buy it, you know what I'm saying, that might guarantee you, said, nah, son, like, I'm not giving you no Skrilla off from no maybes, bro. No ifs, ands, buts, or maybes. You're not getting no moolah out of me behind that, bro. You gonna have to come correct. You have to tell me what's coming. So, for me, bro, as far as their status with me, I've put Sony below Microsoft at this point. Like, I have Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony. And here's why. Before anybody jump down my throat, not like I care, but when it comes down to doing the show, I want to make sure that I explain myself. We all know why Nintendo's numero uno, right? The reason why I put Xbox number 2, they saw the writing on the wall and who they were a while back. So they've been building and stacking up to understand, hey, this is my spot. I'm solidified in this spot. This is who I am. Y'all bastards don't want to mess with me. All right, cool, bet. Like, we're gonna go about it another way. Like, they understood, like, we gotta move different. They had a pivot, right? But Sony's standing 10 toes down in bullshit, bro. Like 10 toes down in it. And they firm in it, and we can smell it like flies is in their face. Like you can smell the aroma be like, man, washed, nothing. And you can see they standing in what they want to stand in. And, and that's one thing about a hard-headed person. A hard head make a soft like, and Sony is really about to see that full force. And, we talk about the hardware numbers. The only time we've seen Sony with like these crazy astronomical hardware numbers is when there's no competition. And when we look at how the PS5 keeps selling, we know the Switch is there, but it's at the tail end of its life, so there's nothing to sell against it per se. And Xbox as a console is not selling either. So there's really nothing out here that people are gonna go out and purchase at this moment in time. And really, Sony is out here, I had selling wish sandwiches, bro. Like, hey, how bro man said, like, getting a wish sandwich. Like, I wish I had a sandwich. Like, they out here selling wish sandwiches, bro. And that's crazy because people keep buying them and they still ain't got their sandwiches. Like, they've been eating wish sandwiches since like PS3, bro. Like, like that's nasty work. But all in all, I put them below because they keep promising things and they don't deliver. And for me, I hold Sony to the standard of the PS1, PS2, right? I have not seen that Sony since then. Like, there was a glimpse of it in PS3, but even then, like, they were smelling themselves thin, but then they kind of like try to rectify it with the 4. But when you start losing IP and you start losing the opportunities to have certain exclusives, even if they are third party, like that's where you lose all that luster, bro. Like you're not the attractive chick no more, bro. Like right now you're going to get all these third parties, and you started with the BBL, bro. You used to be the one with the natural. Like you used to be the natural, now you got the BBL, bro. And so it's looking real bad out here in these streets for Sony on the VR front, console front, software front. And at this point, I don't know what they gotta do other than show up with the games, cause people love them. You know what I'm saying? They got the appeal, man. They got the looks. It's just they personality bad. Like they personality stain, bro. So when they show up with more IP, and whether they bring some of the classics back or they just start fresh and build anew, they gotta start somewhere. But if not, bro, they're gonna be on the side of the court to ask for change. And we ain't trying to see that. We want to make sure competition is here. Like, I'm still on the fence about like really petitioning to get Sega back in this thing if they wanted to get back into it, cause the more the merrier, you know what I mean? But all in all, yeah, that's how I feel, bro. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think I say this a lot on the Winging It podcast, man, that for me, I don't see an upside for Sony until they start making a change and they start showing their hand a little bit differently. For me, it just seems like there's just a bunch of directors that just want to make movies, and then a lot of people want to explain or want to give excuses of, oh, we don't just need first party, we don't just need AAA. I agree, but when you solely rely on third party, which Sony really always has, but they have shown up with the first party as well. I think Shokio gave like a good display of a spreadsheet on Twitter today, and he really, well, not even today. I saw it like a couple of days ago. Um, but with that display, he may not have had every game on there, but I think the point was still received, and it's slowly starting to just drop off. And I just don't understand where Sony's going to be. And even when we talk about showcasing where the Pro is going to be, you know, the releases that were here and the dates and the genres and how everything looks very samey, very storytelly, very gray scale monochrome, very just bleak type games, and there seems to be no life in these games, and that's just kind of where I stand with it. But with all that being said, not to just kind of dogpile on Sony. I just really want the competition to be there, and I really would like for the sales of Sony's consoles to match with the gameplay and the games that come out for it. It's almost like the consoles are being purchased without the right product being alongside it. I just, to me, I just don't understand it. But with that being said, we are going to go into what seems after our first episode to be a beloved segment. We are going into Rex Jackman's segment. We'll probably come up with a creative name going forward, but right now we're going to go into Rex Jackman's segment. Today, he is going to delve into Rockstar. As you all know, Rockstar is on the verge of releasing Grand Theft Auto 6 here, what seems to be this year. But most feel like it may get pushed to next year. So there are some questions surrounding around Rockstar themselves. There's questions surrounding around GTA 6. Will we see more of GTA 5? Will we get more DLC? Rex will speak on this. So Rex, brother, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jack. Before I go into the segment, I want to say thank you all for the love in the comments, bro. Like, I thoroughly appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate that y'all rocks with me being who I am, man. I ain't have to come in here and be no suit, and Jack respected that. You know what I'm saying? For me, not to be no suit, tell me to be myself. But with all that being said, that also ties into what we talking about with Rockstar. Rockstar, man, I need y'all to be yourselves, bro. And this is a statement to y'all. So let's go ahead and dub this Rex statement to Rockstar, Herb. Consider myself a rockstar, bro. And when I used to play, a lot of games back in the day, we understood Rockstar had a gang of hitters, bro. You know what I'm saying? They had GTA, Red Dead Redemption, Bully, LA Noire, Max Payne, Midnight Club, Manhunt, a table tennis even, bro. Like, they were all hitters. Now we down to Red Dead and GTA. Like, what happened? Why have a Rockstar? I want to come and talk to you for a minute. I want to come and talk to you about GTA 6. We see GTA 6 is taking place down here in Florida, you know what I'm saying, down here in the Sunshine State. Within the Sunshine State, right, there's a lot of tropicals, a lot of love, a lot of honeys out here, and a lot of opportunity for y'all to have a great game. But how you gonna spin it up? How you gonna change it? We look at GTA over the years, and that wow factor was there back in the day. You know what I'm saying? We hadn't seen games pull off some of the stuff that GTA has done, but now it's commonplace, bro. Like, everybody's doing it. You see a lot of people wilding out, so that factor of surprise is kind of dead now. So I'm curious as to how y'all gonna approach that. And with y'all approaching into GTA 6, you came with the comment of, y'all used to think that Nintendo made, consoles and stuff for kids. Come on, man. Y'all better than that. Y'all know better than that, right? Like, if y'all really thought it was for the kiddos, you know what I'm saying? Y'all wouldn't release games on the Switch. You know what I'm saying? We got LA Noire on the Switch, bro. Like, y'all know what you're doing. You know where the money at. You know where the head is at. So if you want to go ahead and sell GTA 6 at its top dollar, and you want to get the most for it, put that bad boy on the Switch too. You know what I mean? Like, make that resurgence for GTA 6, bro. Like, not only make the game where it needs to be. I don't care nothing about how much you spent to make it. I don't care how realistic you try and make it. All I'm trying to do is see where y'all going with these stories, these missions. You know what I'm saying? What we could pull off in the gameplay, some surprises here and there. The functionality, we got the Bonnie and Clyde joint jumping. But definitely show us some love over here on Nintendo side, bro. Like, I don't want to see GTA 5. Like, GTA 5 been around since the 360 PS3. You didn't put it out on the Switch. You know what I'm saying? Don't put it out on the Switch too. And the only way I would accept that you put it on Switch 2 is if you do it after the GTA 6 drop, right? So, if you talking about dropping this year, you know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and get everything laid out on the table to get everything out the way. We don't want Red Dead 2. We already got Red Dead Redemption, right? We don't want Red Dead 2, bro. Stop trying to force that born old Western on us, bro. If I want to watch old Westerns, bro, I go to AMC. I go watch on AMC. I go get on my John Wayne's. But, Red Dead Redemption 2 just ain't what it was. It ain't where it was at. It's beautiful. Don't get it twisted. It's a beautiful game, but don't bring it over here. So if we want to talk about, what you really want to do, you really want to bring them hitters, give us GTA 6. You really want to bring them hitters, bring back Bully 2. You know what I'm saying? If you want them hitters, go ahead and hit us with another Midnight Club. If you want them hitters, go ahead and hit us with another table tennis. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead and expand your horizons. Go ahead and show people why in the world you are a rockstar. And it wasn't just GTA, bro. It wasn't just GTA. You know what I'm saying? Y'all had some hitters. Y'all had some bangers, bro. So go ahead and bring that back. Go ahead and expand that catalog. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and spin the block. You know what I'm saying? Get it up on the Switch too. And when it comes down to it, you're going to get your money. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to pull your Switch 2 out, and, you know what I'm saying, shoot the spot up. You know what I'm saying? That, make sure that you claim your spot back, you know what I mean? Cause everybody looking for you to save PlayStation. I think that's what they're looking for you to do. But Nintendo was like, hey, you can just be a companion, you know what I'm saying? You can be a little home. We gonna get some bread, you get some bread, we can go ahead and get this partnership together. That's what y'all need to do, man. So, with all that being said, Rockstar, don't make comments like that no more, man. Like this is bad. This is bad look for press. You know what I'm saying? I'm rocking with y'all. Like I said, Rockstar for a Rockstar. So at the end of the day, announce GTA 6. Put that Switch 2 logo up there. Go save Sony. They need it. They need it bad. Go save them. And on top of that, if these rumors about $100 is up there, hey, look, we ain't gonna go into it. I don't like to threaten people. But at the end of the day, don't do no $100 on me. Run them 70s. Don't do no 100. Now you can do some bundle packs. People can buy the bundles. And you can do the early release. That's how you can get your 100. But don't do no hundreds, bro. Like, nah, don't do hundreds. We already bad on the 70s, you know what I'm saying? People out here, these pockets is hurting, and people are irresponsible with their finances. So go ahead and give us the 70, don't give us the 100. Cause, people still gonna go out there and spend the 100. But all in all, you know what I'm saying? I love you, Rockstar. But go ahead and be a rock star with a rock star on a rock star company as Nintendo. And give us more of these games outside of GTA, man. And, really come back to the claim of fame of where y'all truly was and stand on business. You know what I mean? That's been your boy, Ray Jackman. I'm out the stain boy. Peace.
Thank you, Rex. I couldn't have said any of that better myself. As a fan of Rockstar, I really hope that we see more IP from them. I hope we see a great game in GTA 6, and I really hope that we do see the support um, going into the Switch 2.
Alright, man. We gonna go into the main topic. Jack, I'm gonna take this one, bro. I'm gonna take this one. Alright, so we got the main topic tonight. Or this morning, I'm sorry. Well, I think I'm still, I'm doing the thing, got that word from last night from like this crazy word. But, but we on the main topic, bro, and we talking about pushing the culture forward, when it comes down to this gaming stuff. We got developers, that don't seem like they're, really being themselves, and they're not really being held to a certain standard. We have fans out here that will pacify the behavior that's going on out here because that's their preferred choice, and sometimes it feels like they're supporting because they spent $405. So the last thing you're gonna do is tell me I made the wrong decision by speaking ill of the product that I just purchased, right? You got the games of the service stuff, you got the hero shooters, you got mobile games, etc. We're real passionate about all this stuff, and we've always spoke about Jack, having mechanics over graphics. I think that's something that is essential and that's key because graphics to me is kind of already at a tipping point. And, in order for gaming to go forward and for it to truly be pushed and for it to truly get to where it needs to get to and, be beloved and be respected, I think the mechanics need to come into play. Like, I should not still be operating and playing and seeing some of the same, tools being utilized and the same tactics or tricks being utilized from my PS1, PS2 era days. You dig what I'm saying? So, when I sit back and I look at it, you know, I I don't know who to blame more, but sometimes I tend to lean more towards the fan because they're just loud and wrong. I announce for that 10 and they defend blindly, to the point of embarrassment. To me, I feel like if you're defending what it is that you purchase or the company that you prefer, at least have the knowledge on what it is that they do and how they do it and how things get done. Don't come out here speaking of what another content creator has, spoken or what you've overheard or, what you may have Wikipedia'd, once or twice. Like, really delve into what it is that you're talking about and really get that research popping. So I feel like the fans tend to continue to spread it, but the developer in some of these media spaces plant the seed. It's just the fans continue to let it grow. So, Jack, I want to come to you, bro, and ask you, like, how do you feel about, the state of like the culture of gaming right now and where it's going in? Like, do you pinpoint at either the developer or the fan, both? You know what I'm saying? Like, where we stand with it, Munchie?
I blame both. I blame the developer. I blame the fan. You know, we always say that we talk and speak with our wallets, and A lot of gamers have bought into the lies and the buzzwords and everything of the sort. And when it didn't come up or when it didn't appear, they didn't question it. They just moved on to the next thing after that 6 to 7 year cycle and got led into another group of lies. And it just never stopped. So now we're at that point, like you said, we're at the law of diminishing returns. We don't see creativity as much as we used to. We don't see companies taking risks, and the excuse is always, well, development costs more. Well, think about why development costs more. You don't have to have 4K. You don't have to have realistic graphics. You don't have to have this big expansive world. You can be creative. And I feel like, and this could be just nostalgia speaking, but I think it holds true because we do still see 2D pixelated games to this day that are not open world. When you work with less, you find a way to give more, and that's where a lot of great games from Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1, 64, like they really gave you a lot because they were only working with so much. So you really have to start digging into that creative bag and really make it come out to be the best product that you could at the time.
Yeah, man. I mean, I agree. When your back up is up against a wall and you really don't have any more resources, but you really got a passion, you got a love for something, you're gonna make it work. You know what I'm saying? There's been plenty of days I done seen you sitting in the studio with a Blue Yeti mic, some covers, headphones, just in there getting to work. And then, after going through and seeing how you made that work, once you had the actual equipment, the audio interfaces and the real mic and the real space and stuff like that, bro, I mean, you are already out of this world with it. So you learn how to, work with the smaller work. And then you took it to big time when you got the official work. You know what I'm saying? So, I agree, man. The developers at this point, it seems like it's not necessarily a passion. It seems like it's a money grab or it's a stepping stone. And we talk about this also, same thing with music. There's so many people that come in and utilize it as a stepping stone and they pissing on our passion. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing for you to say, okay, don't be so serious about it, but it's another thing when it's like, yo, this was my childhood. You know what I'm saying? This is my child's childhood. And you really just, taking it for a joke. And, you gotta, stand on something, bro. You got to. It's something that we all passionate about. And whether you deem it as silly or you deem it as warranted, you know what I'm saying? All we ask you to do is respect it. And that's why I feel like some developers right now, while you got the ability, you got the knowledge, you got the know-how of how to actually make it happen, you know what I'm saying? How to put a game out there, don't mean you respect it. And the same thing with the fans, like, with anything, we understand that, when things get more visibility and when it gets more popularity, it's gonna breed more people. And then when you bring in more people, you bring in more personalities, you bring in more attitudes, you bring in more taste. And once again, like I said, there's some people that you've talked about, Jack, that they just here to communicate because they ain't got no friends, bro. Like, they lonely. They lonely. Like, the outsiders shellacking at me, bro. Like, they on Twitter, like, just talking reckless, bro. And so, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, we all want this to be a bigger and better community. But in reality, not everybody care for that. Like, they just here to be a part of what's being spoke about, and then they on to the next. You know what I'm saying? So, even in this time and space right now, if you ain't talking about, like, the Sony stuff, and Nintendo stuff, the Drake and Kendrick stuff, the Super Bowl at the time, the Super Bowl halftime show at this point in time, is gonna come to the next day, and you dig what I'm saying? So, I mean, at the end of the day, somebody gonna try to tag on to something, and that's where you gotta figure out why you're not solid at something. But yeah, so we gonna go, like, we're gonna keep it rolling, bro. Like, to me, I just want to hear more of what you have to say on this particular subject, bro.
Um, where do we go from here? Let me. I have to break this down into three categories for me to give my honest answer, and the categories would be console slash PC handheld space, the mobile space, and then the VR space. So for the console hybrid PC space or whatever, in order for them to fix what I feel is the issue, you now have to start following the lead in Nintendo. You need to dial back. You need to slow down, pump the brakes. Do not go out trying to give people 8K. Do not get into a conversation about 120 frames per second. Do not get into a conversation about seeing pores and hair and real teeth and real faces and all that other stuff. The only game I've ever seen that really needs to work is LA Noir, and that was because it had a mechanic for you to read people's faces and their expressions, so that way you could see if they were lying or not. Great mechanic, by the way, and just I never seen it duplicated. Um, but they need to start taking Nintendo's lead and think game first, hardware second. And I think that's where a lot of developers will dig themselves out of a hole. Um, when it comes down to mobile gaming, I think it needs to be taken seriously. And I'm not talking about by the consumer, but by developers. I think they look at mobile games as like a pachinko machine. Like they look at them like slot machines. They see it as an easy cash grab. The consumer has shown they don't want to pay full price for a game. They rather just pay you what they want to pay you at the time they want to, and just go from there. 99 cents here and there, $5 here and there, and eventually it'll add up to more than what they were trying to give you for a straight up price. But when I look at Capcom trying to drag Resident Evil over there again, those games did not sell well the first time. When we were talking about iPhones and iPads being able to play those games, that's not the crowd for that. And I just really need them to stop trying to push console type games into the mobile scene and start making mobile games. We were at a point to where dedicated hardware were getting dedicated type games, even though you saw SpongeBob SquarePants and Bikini Bottom across about 11 different devices. They all looked and played differently, and I think that's what we need to get back to. And as far as VR is concerned, I feel like they need the same thing as mobile, and then also the same thing as console. Like, do not continue to try to shoot for um, these overly graphically impressive games just for the hell of it, and then you get nothing out of it, um, and the crowd's not even there for it. You got to find a way to make people comfortable with VR gaming, whether it's smaller headsets if possible, you know, less eye strain, less strain on the head. You got a little bit more to deal with than a console and mobile gamer, but it's there's work that needs to be done. But with all that being said, man, I want to say thank you to everybody that has stayed with us, that has watched this episode of the Gaming Grounds Network, news network, if you will. So thank you all for tuning in for this gaming news. We have chose to dive 100% into this alone due to you all support and comments. So I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for making something that I've had up here for quite some time, something enjoyable to do and something that you all enjoy to see. So with that being said, the podcast itself will not happen. I will continue to be on the Winging It podcast. I will continue to be on the Sandstorm Rebirth podcast. And then hopefully I can pop up on other podcasts once people start seeing this, and invite Rex on and invite myself on. And, I think this would be pretty dope going forward, but we're gonna, take care of self, and we're gonna take care of the crowd, and we're going to stay focused on this, and we're gonna give this 110%, opposed to spreading ourselves thin. So like I said, thank you to Rex for joining me. Thank you to the Winging It podcast family. Thank you to the MSM family, the Sandstorm family. So I thank you all, and, continue to like, subscribe, and watch the channel and support us, and you'll definitely see some family on here for sure. But continue to watch us on YouTube. Thank you all for your time. I am your host, Action Jack. I'm your boy, Rex Jackman, and we'll see you next Thursday. Peace.